What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button and hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. And I hope you guys are freaking excited, because today is Wednesday, which means we are jumping into some Marvel Comics. Kicking it off, we have the Immortal Hulk versus the Mighty Thor. This is Banner of War Part 1 Alpha. If you're trying to get caught up on everything that has been going on with Hulk and Starship Hulk, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that has been happening with Bruce Banner. This earth-shattering issue is brought to you by Donny Cates. The artist is Martin Coccolo and the color artist is Matt Wilson. And while this isn't the first time that Hulk and Thor have fought one another, they are promising this to be the biggest fight yet. So be sure to buy the comic, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, this is the big event and we are diving straight into this. It is starting us off with Uatu the Watcher. We all know who he is, we all know what his job is. It is to observe, to watch everything transpire and catalog this. He knows what is about to go down and he is preparing himself for this main event. But before we see these two titans clash together, the Watcher wants to fill us in on what is happening. What has brought these two unstoppable forces against one another? While we haven't been covering Thor on this channel, the Watcher really does give us a quick recap on everything that he has been dealing with. After the War of the Realms, we have Thor, who is now King of Asgard. And in the short time that he has been ruling, he has found himself against some very big odds. One event after another, from Galactus to the Black Winter, the emergence of Golden Shadow, and probably one of the hardest things for him was the death of Odin. A battle that came at the cost of his father and a shattered Mjolnir. While Odin's body may be dead, his soul is stuck inside of Mjolnir, pieced back together, looking much like the Thor Love and Thunder hammer that we're gonna see here soon in the movies. Being trapped inside of this hammer, he is able to talk to Thor. And while this may seem like a blessing, this is also a curse. With all of this craziness going on in his life, Thor is ready to just lay the smackdown on somebody. Let out all of this aggression. And that's where we get the recap of what has been going on with Bruce Banner. Because Bruce Banner, he created what he calls Starship Hulk. The psyche of the Hulk is locked inside the engine room. This is all inside the mind of the Hulk. And sitting in the control room in the mind of the Hulk, we have Bruce Banner. This is his way of having absolute control. They referred to this as a mind palace. And deep in that engine room, we have the Hulk, who faces a wide variety of adversaries. From Marvel zombies to the gods themselves. The harder the Hulk psyche fights against all of these adversaries, the harder on the outside the Hulk's body is able to endure and lay down punishment. Finding himself on another world, on another Earth, we saw how truly capable this Starship Hulk can be. But we also saw Titan. Now, Titan is essentially Hulk's Hulk. It's Hulk's manifestation. When the Hulk gets angry, there is Titan. Much like when Bruce Banner gets angry, there is the Hulk. Again, this is something that has already been done in the past, but they're really revamping it and bringing it to this new era. With the Hulk finding himself in the space between worlds. This is where Thor has finally caught up to him. And this is where the clashing of gods begins. As these two giants clash together, we see that Thor is trying to reason with him, trying to reach out to Bruce Banner, hoping that this doesn't have to resort to this level of violence. As the two of them tussle, they find themselves landing on a world known as Sakharine, and the Hulk is letting Thor know that this is Bruce Banner. He can hear him perfectly fine, and he is telling him to go away. What we also see is that Mjolnir, Odin, is talking to Thor, while inside the mind of Starship Hulk, we have Betty, aka the persona that Titan is taking on, talking to Bruce and letting him know that this is a fight they might not be able to win. because how many times have they done this, and how many times has Thor won this fight? And the two of them having these voices speak to them, we see this play out in real time. Both of them are telling these voices to shut up, and it throws both of them off guard, asking each other who you're talking to, but we never get an answer because we see them collide yet again. Thor not wanting any of the locals on this planet to end up dead because of their fight. We see the two of them transported, and Sif is able to send them to the Black Hand of God. This is the arena of all arenas, built from the very severed hand of a celestial. This is where the greatest and most gruesome tournaments are held. This is a place where you find eternal glory. Sitting in the crowd, we have the Watcher anticipating and waiting for this battle as the attendees begin to place their bets. This is where we have round 1 of Hulk versus Thor, as Thor takes his hammer and he smashes it across the face of the Hulk. He is letting the Hulk know that there were 17 people. In El Paso, he killed 17 innocent lives. And now it is time to face his punishment. It is time to face justice. As Thor is just mopping the floor with him, we see Mjolnir put on the back of the Hulk, unable to move, stuck right where he is. Before Thor goes to finish the Hulk off, he lets him know that he was really hoping it would never come down to this. In the back of his mind, he always had a feeling that this is where their paths were going to lead them. Eventually, he was going to have to stop the monster. He knew in time that Bruce Banner, the Hulk, would have to be put down, letting Banner know that there is no joy, there is no happiness in this victory. But it is time to finally put this beast to sleep. As the Hulk is struggling to try and get to his feet, it does him no good. And while Banner wants to explain this whole situation, because the truth is, it was Titan who is responsible for El Paso, or at least that is what we are assuming up to this point. It hasn't gave us an exact detailed timeline of what happened in El Paso, but it's fair to assume with the manifestation of Titan that it was very much that persona who was responsible for what happened, with Bruce Banner recognizing that Thor is not gonna listen to him. This is where we increase power to level 8. The computer trying to warn him that even at level 8, they cannot move because Mjolnir is on top of them. As he takes over complete and absolute control, he is working like an avatar and now is working the arms, legs, every single movement on his own. Before, this was all really computer controlled, but Bruce Banner now has a trick up his sleeve. Hooking into the system, the computer uploads every single fight that him and Thor have ever had. This means he remembers every move that Thor has done, every attack, every parry, everything. He remembers every single punch, every blow to the face. Having this kind of access, this makes him know every single move that Thor might throw at him, at least from a pattern of history. This is the Hulk fighting smarter for the first time. With all of these memories being uploaded into his mind, we see the Hulk's body begin to rise up, Thor staring in disbelief. But the Hulk isn't moving Mjolnir. What the Hulk is doing is lifting his body up while Mjolnir is pulling out the entire chest of the Hulk, rising up to his feet with a giant hole right in the middle of him. He tells Thor to pick up his hammer and let's finish this. And now it is the Hulk's turn to do some smashing, as Thor is having his face smashed into the ground. This is where we see Mjolnir fly up into the air, Odin believing that he needs to take control of this situation before Thor finds himself dead on this ground. There is a rumbling, a thunder in the sky. At first, Hulk is not sure what to think of this, believing maybe that this is some lightning, some parlor tricks that Thor thinks might have the upper hand against Hulk. Of course, Bruce Banner is not scared of a little bit of lightning. What he doesn't recognize is that thunderous boom that was Mjolnir breaking the sound barrier. In a matter of seconds, we see that hammer come down with the fury of the gods. That thunderous blow. This gives Thor the upper hand. Wielding his hammer, he is smashing away on the Hulk. In the midst of this fight, this is where Odin lets it be known that there is something going on with Bruce Banner. Both Odin and Thor have sensed this. It is almost as if something is possessing him. Odin recognizes it as Bruce Banner truly being haunted. Giving Thor an idea, we see Mjolnir fly through the air. As this hammer comes smashing down on the Hulk's face, we see Bruce Banner in the control room. Everything goes sideways, flying out of his captain's seat, only to look up and see Odin himself. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This story will be continued in Thor issue number 25, and you bet your bottom dollar we are gonna be there. This alpha edition really did just blow it out of the water. From the artwork to the color to the story, it is absolutely phenomenal. One giant issue being one brutally long fight. And this fight is far from freaking over. I think I'm most excited to see what they're gonna do with Titan, because we saw the introduction of Titan, but we also saw that the Hulk psyche was able to put Titan back into its place. I'm really excited to explore what they're gonna do with it and how they're gonna utilize it in this banner of war. What's even more exciting is the soul of Odin going into the mind of Hulk. We're gonna see how Bruce Banner holds up against freaking Odin. My best guess is Odin is gonna try to help rid them of Titan, only to realize that he is probably outgunned inside the mind of the Hulk. I'm betting that we're gonna see Titan really re-emerge, and with this emergence, we're gonna see one heck of a fight between Thor and Titan. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by hitting the super thanks button. This button will let you donate directly to the channel, and every little bit helps us out. Now, if you can't do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and until the next breakdown.